Hello, NIST parents. It's my pleasure to talk to you via camera, not directly, but to tell you that I think we've got a pretty amazing early learning center, and we're really pleased that you're a part of our community here. One of the things that makes this such a fantastic community, such a great school, is our parents and our teachers who are constantly looking for ways to provide an even better education for your children. One of the things we're considering for next year is the idea of composite classes. Composite classes are not a new idea in education. They've been around for quite a while, but that would be something new for us at NIST. And for us, we're going to explain a little bit more about what that is, how it would work here, because we want your input, we want your feedback on that. Like I said, a sign of a great school is a school that's always looking to do things better, looking out at what the good practice is in education, and that's something we do here constantly. And we really appreciate your input. Thank you.
So the EY team is pretty passionate about the idea of composite classes, and we'll give you lots of reasons why we are in a moment. We'll have a lot of people from around the school telling you about the benefits of composite classes from our understandings, our research, and our experiences. But we want to make it really clear to parents and families that this will be your choice. Let's explain a little bit what a composite class means, because the word composite class can be quite confusing for a lot of people, even educationalists who have worked in the West where composite classes are more popular. So a composite class is when you do not break down the age groups according to a 1 year age group. You teach children from two different age groups across possibly 2 years or even up to 3 years all together in one class. What would that mean in EY? We would have some classes that are not purely EY1 age children or purely EY2 age children, but rather we will have some classes, depending on parent choice, where we teach EY1 and EY2 age children all together in an EY composite class.
So when Kate raised this idea of multi-level groupings in EY, we started to do some research on the benefits of this. And what we found is there's been a lot of research completed in schools over the years, and it points to the fact that it actually has a positive effect on student learning, especially with younger children. And what's really interesting is that in schools where there's a higher level of collaboration and differentiation, it works really well. And there are a couple of things that we really pride ourselves on at NIST.
Well, apart from the social and the emotional gains created by multi-age classrooms, having the opportunity to interact with others of varying ages, much as we do as adults every day, opens opportunities for learning and for growth. I think in a multi-age setting, the learner is focused on his or her own learning, and comparisons with others' abilities is often reduced by nature of the multi-age classroom.
It helps the students in their learning because they gain multiple perspectives from students who have had more learning experiences and more life experience than they have.
In a multi-age setting, learning continues to be individualised, and the developmental needs of the individual are reflected by nature in a multi-age setting. Discussions with the learner, parent and other educators are focused on the individual's learning journey.
I guess composite classes have raise some questions, and those are usually around differentiated practice. And that is, how do we meet the needs of each individual if we have such an age range? But to tell you the truth, in single age grouping classes, you may have just as many groupings in that age level as you would in holding multi-classes of 3 age levels.
And finally, I think multi-age settings offer richer opportunities for the learner academically, socially and emotionally.
As a parent of 2 children, I think the composite classes is a great idea. I'm thinking generally about my 2 boys. I've got siblings, and I've got my older boy who actually learns a lot from my little one, and he gets a chance to be a leader. He demonstrates his leadership skills. He gets to be a role model for the little one, and on the same hand, the little one is also learning things more quickly from the older one. And I think that's kind of the general idea of a composite class, because you've got children in a broad age range.
Younger children feel protected, and they usually tend to follow the older children in these situations.
I think there's definitely benefits to the older children in being leaders, and for the little ones to just acquire their skills and to learn things, and by being mentored by the older kids.
My appreciation of composite classes is both from the perspective of a student and from a teacher. When I was a student in elementary school, I had 2 years in a composite class, and as a teacher I've taught for 4 years in the early years with composite classes. And from both experiences I have really positive memories of it as a student and as a teacher. Really positive memories. Probably the best advantage that I could see from both perspectives is the relationship building that happens. So we get to know one another so well, with half the students being the same from one year to the next, and you have the same teacher for a couple of years and the same relationships that can be strengthened from one year to the next. And I understand from the vision of the early years composite classes that the plan is for the teacher to stay with the students for 2 years, and this has been my experience as well, and it's been very positive.
And I've done this before, looping with my kids, and I think it's important for teachers to be with their kids more than 1 year, because the teachers will get to know the kids better, and this is good for the family as well. It is also good for the children. They will feel comfortable with the teacher, and they will develop a very strong relationship together.
I used to work in the composite class in Bangkok a few years ago. I enjoyed to see the children. They help each other in the class. Even if they're older, even they're younger, but they help each other to make the class a better place. I like to see the younger children. They try to expand their skill to be like the older ones. And I like to see the older ones, they help the younger one to organize something nicer in the classroom. I enjoy that so much, and I hope to see if we have that class at NIST, be open-minded to make that class at NIST as well.